What is going on, guys and girls? My name is Gironca, and today I'm back with a brand new EU4 series on my channel. We're playing on version 1.3. The Austria patch and accompanying Emperor DLC will officially release on June 9th, but thanks to the people over at Paradox, I have gotten a little bit of a sneak peek. And I want to take this time right in the beginning here to not only show my gratitude to Paradox for, getting me this opportunity, but I also want to thank you guys for watching my videos, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, and sometimes even supporting me financially on Patreon. I highly appreciate your support, and without you, I wouldn't have the chance to play the game before release. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way, and now let's get into the game. We're going to be playing single player. I just did a bit of a test run to see if everything works, and everything does work fine. Let's check the options once more. We're playing on very hard difficulty here. You can see the bonuses outlined there for the AI, obviously. And we'll obviously have lucky nations on historical, which means some of these nations will be incredibly powerful, such as England, France, Castile, Austria. But I believe we can deal. Now, as I said, we're going to be jumping in as Saxony on normal mode. No Iron Man. It's going to be an honest man mode, which means no reloading. The only reason I don't really like Iron Man is because it doesn't add anything for me. I'm not going for achievements. I've got my own objectives. And at the same time, it sometimes can cause entire series to be lost. I've had that happen in the past where a save game gets corrupted, and with only one save, you can't really salvage anything. And so I like to have multiple saves just so that, nothing gets lost. At worst, it's one episode and not the entire series, and that's just much better for YouTube. But yeah, what can you expect from me here? If you're new to the channel, then I should quickly, tell you how I play. I'm not someone who paints the map necessarily. I'm not a power gamer, even though there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my style. I rather like to take the game slow. I like to immerse myself. I want to go for the full experience, and that often involves a lot of reading. Now, sometimes especially when there's some events that you get all the time, I do tend to just check out the modifiers and click it away, but at least at the very first time we get a new event, I just want to read it out and really get the bigger picture. And we're actually going to start off right now with this text here. We're playing as the Saxons. The power of the Van Wattens, the dynasty here, has increased substantially in recent years to the degree that they now form one of the most powerful states in Germany. First, the male line of the Ascanias of Saxe-Wittenberg died out in 1423, and their land and their title as elector was bestowed upon the Wattens by the Holy Roman Emperor. Thuringia was then acquired in 1440, so just 4 years ago, when Friedrich IV, or Frederick, known as the Peaceful, the cousin of Prince Elector Frederick II of Saxony, died. However, with this rapid expansion comes new challenges. Jealous of the Prince Elector's success, his brother Wilhelm seeks land for himself and his successors and is intent on splitting the Watten inheritance. Threats to Saxony's newfound ascendancy abound elsewhere too. To the south lie the Kingdom of Bohemia, a powerful nation prone to heresy. Obviously, one of the new additions here has been the Hussite mechanics, and that was actually a bit of history here where the Hussite Wars happened just a couple of years prior, and Saxony and Bohemia were at odds there. But yeah, in case of war with Bohemia, Saxony will struggle to stand alone against their might. Even worse, the Habsburgs of Austria have designs on the Bohemian throne. Should they inherit it, this will have far-reaching consequences for the balance of power in the empire. On the other hand, to the north lies the Hohenzollerns of Brandenburg, an ambitious, medium-sized power that would prove valuable allies or worthy rivals in equal measure. Saxony could make common cause with them against Bohemia, but this path may risk aggravating the mighty Poland, which will play a role as well. Perhaps it would be safer to simply conquer Brandenburg and join the power to Saxony in that manner. If all these threats can be neutralized through diplomacy or military strength, considerable possibilities open up for Saxony. To the west and southwest lie the diverse principalities, bishoprics, and free cities of the Lower Saxons, Westphalians, and Franconians, petty states with little military capability of their own, they would fall easily to a united Saxony that is to dedicate its full attention to their conquest. That is able to dedicate its full attention to their conquest. All right, so yeah, that's actually a really neat little text here, and it already touches upon a lot of the things that I want to do as Saxony. And you guys might be wondering, well, why even play Saxony, right? Now, first thing is a lot of the new mechanics that have been implemented in Emperor or the Austria patch, which is, by the way, the greatest change ever made to a Paradox game. At least I think so. At least it's the biggest overhaul for EU4. That much I know for certain. But yeah, it's huge, and it focuses on Europe, which is really cool, and it gives two core mechanics, or two new mechanics, or actually, let's rephrase that. It gives new mechanics to the Catholics and to the Holy Roman Empire, and both of these things we can experience as Saxony. Now, I do probably want to change to Protestantism later on in the game, as Saxony did historically, but we'll have to see. At least in the beginning, we're going to be checking out the Catholics. Yeah, government doesn't really matter too much here, but it does matter that we're here in the Holy Roman Empire. So Saxony ticks those two boxes, HRE as well as Catholicism. Now, still, there's plenty of other nations that you could play, but I've chosen Saxony also because they have now received new missions, a new complete unique mission tree with all kinds of cool stuff in here, some of which has already been touched upon in this little text we just read, and also some of the things, yeah, obviously have taken ideas from history, such as the King of Poland thing here, which did happen historically as well. So this is really cool, and in addition to these missions, we've also gotten some map changes that also actually affect Saxony directly. So there's a couple new provinces here, and we also have new interactions with our personal union Thuringia here that comes in the form of several new events, which actually makes it much more interesting to play here. So these things, coupled with the final reason, and that is Saxony is my home. It's my home state, and obviously I'm very interested in history, but of course I'm even more interested in the history of my own home. And so I have a little bit of the extra tidbits here and there that I can sprinkle in that some of you guys might not know. And so, yeah, I'm very, very pumped to just get started here as Saxony with all of these cool changes. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what I want to do. Obviously, a lot of the things I want to achieve here will have to do with our missions, because a lot of this, as I said, is just cool stuff, but it also focuses on historical things that I want to not play. Like, I don't want to just railroad that, but I do want to follow his history in a sense. And so, but yeah, I still have some ideas, some goals that are different from the mission tree. And the first one is that I want to unite the Saxon and Lower Saxon culture groups. Like, this is basically the heartland that I want to personally have for the most part, plus some other regions as well. Now, in addition to that, I would like to become emperor and focus on the decentralization path, which is new. This has not been possible previously. You only had decentralization, and I never really liked that. First of all, because that last reform is a bit of a trap, because it actually makes you weaker, but also because I kind of just like the diversity that the HRE offers, and I've always wanted to, you know, preserve it, but now that it's actually mechanically viable as with the decentralization path, that is, you know, all the more reason to do that. And Saxony as an elector is in a pretty decent position to actually become emperor as well. We'll see if it's possible. But yeah, other than that, I already touched upon this a couple of times. I want to eventually get our personal union over Poland. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, but we'll see. And as a bit of a late game goal, I want to achieve the hegemony status as the economic hegemon. So basically, yeah, you can see what we need here. We need to be a great power, which should be possible, and we need a monthly income of 1,000 gold. Now, that on itself doesn't you know, necessarily seem all that difficult, but we're going to have a bit of an issue here because I'm not going for a great colonial empire. We might have a couple colonies here and there, a couple of maybe Sunshine Islands or something, but for the most part, you know, we're not going to have a huge world-spanning empire, and obviously that's mostly also because we don't start off in a great position for that. So we're going to have to find different ways to become this economic hegemon, and our ideas and missions will actually help with that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So yeah, those are some of the things I want to do. Some things I definitely don't want to do, I want to show as well. I do not want to reform into Prussia, and I do not want to form the German nation. I want to play as Saxony all the way through. Yeah, so just for those of you who might be wondering where I'm going with this campaign. All right, so that said, we can actually go ahead and, yeah, do some cool stuff. Now, let's just check out our nation. There's so many things to check out, so we're just going to start off here with the map. Obviously, we are Saxony starting off. We've got 4 provinces, and we've got a personal union with 4 provinces as well, but we have a little bit more development starting out here. And if we check out our rivals, yep, we already see Brandenburg has rivaled us, as has Brunswick. Wow, that is bad. And Hesse. Wow. Okay, now they're not very powerful, but it's still quite a front of enemies that we have here. We can only hope that they have rivaled each other as well, which they have. Luckily, Brunswick has the same people, and Brandenburg, well, not entirely, but yeah, okay. That's quite a front of enemies we have here, but I think those are actually pretty decent rivals to have, and we're going to be rivaling them back. We're starting off with Brandenburg, then we're going to have Brunswick next, and we will have Hesse. Yeah, why not? Let's have them as well, and then we'll see how things go from there. Okay, now we actually start off with basically no relations at all except our personal union. But that's not entirely true, because if we have a look at our court here, we see our Prince Elector Frederick II, who is a really decent administrator, an okay diplomat, terrible military guy. That's maybe because, well, that's maybe why he's called the Peaceful. He is fertile, so we should have no shortage of heirs, and he's industrious, giving us some goods produced, even though it doesn't actually look like that's doing as much good at the moment. And yeah, he's 32 years old. We have an heir, Albrecht, who is so much better in military. That's going to be very good. But the thing I really wanted to show you was this, our consort Margaret von Habsburg. So that actually, yeah, we should actually have a royal marriage here with with Austria. It's not represented in the game, but, well, actually it is consort marriage ties, but we don't actually have a royal marriage, but we can get one. So let's go ahead and do that as our first action. I would love to get an alliance with Austria. It's difficult. It's difficult already, and very hard. The very hard difficulty doesn't make it any easier, obviously. So we'll have to see if this is possible. But yeah, the marriage just makes sense. So even from just that perspective, I would have gone for it anyways. Okay, now we have 2 more relationship slots here, and we have Brandenburg and Brunswick as rival. Now, you do not like the Teutonic Order and Wolgast. Okay. I think you don't like Stettin. You could... Yeah, maybe Wolgast will be our friend here to fight Brandenburg. It's really the only person we have. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go for Wolgast here, and then who do you hate? Yeah, it's just us. And Hesse, you don't like Mainz. I don't know if they're going to be powerful enough here. They do have a reconquest. Oh, wait, no, they have a reconquest against Thuringia. Oh, well, that's not good. So they're not going to be an ally. All right, well, I guess we're going to focus on Wolgast here. Maybe go for a royal marriage as well. That should help. And yeah, then we'll have one more slot open for whatever. We'll be checking that out as well. Okay, there's so many things. I need to make sure that I don't forget anything. Actually, let's get one thing out of the way quickly here. Let's actually vote for Austria. That's one of the ways we can improve relations with them. So let's go ahead and do that. That should... yeah, they voted for us. So plus 25 here. That does increase our chances significantly. Okay, now also Saxon army strength is a problem, which will... Well, I mean... we'll try and remedy that. What is our force limit? 10. Okay, so let's check that. Okay, we can get... You know what? Just build 3 more infantry straight out the gate. We should probably go for a general as well. But we can do that later. Now, at the beginning here, I like to just reduce maintenance as well as mothball our fortress, because professionalism is important, but it just... we won't really be able to sustain it in the beginning. Once we have grown a little bit, we can focus on that. But I think like the first 100 years, we're not really going to drill much. And we're mostly going to focus on mercenaries and stuff like that. And then once we actually have a higher manpower base, we can look to change that. Okay, but yeah, we've checked this out. We can't really go for an advisor just now, but I do want to focus on military here, just because we are very lacking there. So we should be focusing on that instead. Government, nothing too important here. We have Saxon in all of our provinces. Relationship here, we already checked out. Economy, I already did the most important stuff as well. Trade, we have 2 people from Krakow and Vienna transferring trade to Saxony, so that's dope. And we do have a center of trade here, right? Actually, it doesn't show. We do. Good. We can upgrade that at some point once we have the funds. Tech and ideas, nothing new just now. Although, we do start off with development cost reduction and advisor cost reduction. So, yeah, we should be able to afford those advisors soon. And then our ideas, we'll be actually checking them out as we get them. Our missions, I've already shown you, some of which will be... obviously, some of them are giving us claims and stuff like that. But some of them, specifically manufacturing and, you know, this industrialization tree, they can really help us a lot once we go for our economic hegemon, because as I said, we're going to have to do mostly without trade, or at least trade won't play as big as a role. And then obviously this is one of our end goals here, becoming the King of Poland. As for decisions, nothing too important here. Stability, I want to boost stability here. We need a little bit more. So next month we should be able to do that. Religion, yeah, as I said, we might be switching to Protestantism down the line, but for now this is fine. Military, we're building up to our force limit at the moment. Subjects, Thuringia actually does have quite a lot of liberty desire here, but some of this is actually having to do with our current situation here. The estates, now this is pretty new. This is the estates have received a complete overhaul in Emperor, and yeah, this actually looks familiar to something I've seen in a mod before. I'm not sure if that was... it may have been Mayu and Taxes, or it was something else. A relatively popular mod had this crown land sort of estate land mechanic. So I kind of like to see that here now as well. So basically, all 3 estates have control lands within our domain, and then there's the crown, which is basically our elector here, our dynasty, that holds some lands as well. Right now you can see that the nobility actually controls more land than the crown, and in the beginning that's fine. In fact, we're going to be relying on our estates quite a lot, but once absolutism comes around, we definitely want to repeal that, because a lot of these things actually reduce the autonomy, the maximum amount of absolutism we can get. Now, right now, we actually have 2 little crown land, and so our taxes go down, and liberty desire from subject development is increased. So those 2 things we definitely want to get rid of. So the easiest way, there's several ways to get crown land. The easiest way is to just seize it. Obviously, that makes the estates unhappy. So we'll have to find other ways to make them happy, because if we drop below 30% loyalty, then we might have rebels. And so if we were to do this right now, you can see that we would actually drop below 30 on all of these. So we need to improve them. We need to improve the loyalty, and the easiest way to do this in the beginning is to just summon a diet, and that will also show us the agenda mechanics. So let's just go ahead and start out with that. They will gain influence and loyalty, which is fine. The agenda of the diet. The estates of Saxony have proposed agendas for the summoned diet, favoring one of the estates here could have large benefits in the long run. The clergy bemoan the poor regard the Pope has for our nation. They call for us to reaffirm our standing as good Christians by solidifying our relations with Roma. The nobility are concerned at the threat posed by our rivals in Hesse. They recommend that we befriend their rivals' minds, so that together we may stand strong against them. And the burghers request that we invest in the prosperity of the city of Wittenberg. Okay, interesting. Now, the proposal of the nobility I've already disregarded because they have a casus belli on Mainz. They've got, actually, wait, hold on Thuringia. They've got Reconquest casus belli here. They've got a core, so they're not going to be our great friends. So we're not going to be doing that. Improving relations with the Pope, that will give us yearly papal influence +1. That's actually really good, and it's relatively easy to do. We just need a diplomat. And then this, base production of at least 6 in Wittenberg, that will give us a little bit of gold. I don't like that, because monarch points in the beginning are very, very valuable. So I'm going to go with the proposal of the clergy to improve relations with the Pope. Now, we've got a little bit of time to do that. I think 20 years to fulfill. If we fail, well, we will lose some loyalty from the clergy. Now, there's other cool things we can do. For example, we can add privileges, but we'll be checking that out later. For now, all I want to do is I want to go ahead and seize land. We should be fine, right? We're losing 20 loyalty, so we're still above 30. So we have gotten rid of this modifier, and our estates are still happy. We've got a new agenda set, and I have spent the first episode without moving forward in time, which is classic. So yeah, if you've made it this far, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you're just as pumped for Emperor as I am. There's actually going to be a link in the description that leads to my partner shop, Games Planet. They sell all kinds of games, as well as Emperor, and there you actually have a 10% discount. And if you use the link in the description and buy it through there, then you will actually help out the channel as well, for which I am very, very grateful. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.